Hey lovers, this is Bexy, the Wild Moon Sessions founder and creator. If you are enjoying the Nourish Your Soul podcast, please head over to the Patreon page and make a donation. You can either subscribe to the Nourish Your Soul podcast community for £6 a month, or you can make a donation of your choice and support this podcast. Part of the donations will be going to projects all over the world, and this is an idea of creating a holistic community via beautiful conversation and connection all over the world. So this has a big impact and I appreciate you. You can also support me by clicking subscribe below and by pressing the like button and helping others find these videos and these beautiful conversations and nourishing conversations. Thank you so much for your support in advance. I hope you love the next episode. Sending so much love to you. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Nourish Your Soul podcast. My name is Bexy and I am your host. And today I am super psyched and stoked to be talking to Anna, who is based in Mexico currently. Anna, do you want to just introduce yourself and say hello?
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and I am a 13th octave La Ho Chi practitioner, and I'm also an artist, designer, and yeah, I'm currently based in Mexico, and I'm just so excited to share this time with Bexy.
Well, thank you for coming on, Anna. I really, really appreciate your time and you coming here to share a little bit about you. I felt really called to ask Anna on the podcast because a couple of weeks ago, I actually received one of her 13 octave La Ho Chi sessions, and it was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. It was just like a beautiful harmonization. And I thought that it would be a lovely, lovely conversation around energetic work and why it's so important, particularly on this podcast, because I feel like everything has energy, right? So it's really beautiful to understand it more and understand how it can benefit you in lots of different ways as well. But yeah, Anna, in terms of like La Ho Chi, how would you explain it in a really accessible way? How would you kind of summarize it?
Okay. I think the easiest way to describe 13th octave La Ho Chi is that it is a God-given gift to humanity. It is star healing made human. And by star healing, I mean it's cosmic, it's quantum, and it is just a really beautiful, harmonizing, high frequency, hands-on. Also, our session was remote, so it transcends time and space. So it really is just a gift for, sorry. No, I just like living in Mexico, there's plenty of like noise on the street, so excuse that.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
It was just really loud in my ear, so it was like, one way to get me out of my like center. So it's this God-given gift to help us facilitate the rebirth of humanity. And I can attest to its magic and its power. And I'm so grateful that we were able to do your session.
Yeah. How did you actually find it, Anna? Like, what was there did you have a healing session done and then you were like, oh my God, I have to know how to do this? Or was it kind of kismet thing that just like landed in your lap, or like how did that come to you?
Okay, so I was living in New York at the time, and I myself was like really dipping my toes into the waters of ascension, and also just like my own spiritual growth. And I came across this healing group, like workshop online. And my teacher, Jordan, or she goes by Ostara Apothecary, and she's this beautiful medicine woman. And I experienced 13th octave Lahochi in a group setting. And the first time I experienced it, I felt like I had gone home. Like the feeling of weightlessness, the feeling of so many of like, I guess, my struggles lifting off of my chest, like really feeling my auric body lighten and heal, was a turning point for me. And so after that group experience, I was like, what the heck was that? I need to learn how to facilitate this experience. And so the thing was though, I read the prerequisite was needing to study Reiki. And so I got into Reiki just to familiarize myself with like energetic healing, hands-on healing, and was able to learn how to do 13th octave in 2020, the very beginning. It was it was just right when the world went into lockdown. So it felt really aligned. It was just like, wow, this pandemic has hit the world, and now I'm given this like chance to learn how to heal. It felt really like synchronistic.
And what did you do before that, specifically? Before lockdown and you were in New York, you know, like obviously you mentioned that you're a designer, and like I'm intrigued to know kind of where you were in your life when that kind of arrived and you were, do you know what I mean? Because sometimes I know dance for me arrived at a really specific time, so I'm curious.
Okay, so in a past life, I used to work in a nightclub in Soho in New York, and I worked in nightlife for the last 4 years.
Wow. Okay.
Pre-pandemic. And it's really funny because it's like, oh, how do you go from working in a nightclub to doing energy work? But the funny thing was like this job, I mean, it brought me closer to myself, because it was like, oh, here I was doing this job, and yes, it was so much fun, and I got to meet so many beautiful, interesting, eccentric people. But I also got to see like the shadow side of humanity. And I was really seeing people, I was seeing their pain. I was seeing escapism. I was seeing all sorts of things that I was dealing with within myself. And you know, the height of it was, you know, I got sober in a nightclub. And it really like it pushed me to grow. And it definitely showed me that this wasn't the right place for me, but it did open the doors to deepening my relationship with spirit and with myself. And that's how I as the pandemic happened, it was like I got furloughed from my job, and I felt like it was the universe telling me that I didn't need to do that anymore, that was an old chapter and I could leave it behind and start again. And yeah, that's that's what I was doing before.
That's amazing. Actually, I really love the fact that you were able to answer that and you were happy to answer that, Anna, because I sometimes feel like like the step into like Lahochi or shamanic stuff, or even becoming a yoga practitioner, sometimes it takes something to twig within yourself in order for you to embrace something different or embrace a deeper level of connection with yourself. And actually, I think that makes it really accessible, and it makes it really it makes people be able to connect in with that, because the story, I feel like, is everything at the same time as the practice, and it sounds like it was a very educational experience for you. Like, oh, there's some real true messages of like, no, yes, no, totally get it. I mean, I was in the fashion industry for years. I was also in fashion, and it was funny because it definitely connected me with some beautiful people, and at the same time there was just so much of it that felt like I was being ripped apart inside whilst I was doing it. So it felt very, very divergent and difficult for me. And I think that's what definitely, on top of other things, obviously, but that definitely awakened my spirit into what I wanted to be connected to. So yeah, totally, I love the fact that that backstory is very different, because it's a beautiful thing. I also wanted to say, Anna, that when you were saying it's a God-given gift, Lahochi and the energy of it, I have to say that when I experienced the remote session, it was like a harmonization of energy. And I've been to Reiki, I've been to so many different healing modalities, and the only thing that I've had that kind of buzz of energy off is a dance session. That's the only thing. And that's from you moving your body, and the alchemy of moving your body and going to different parts of yourself and in place. And that's put me on an energetic high for a long time after that. But yeah, Lahochi definitely felt like there was a lot of unity. And actually, I wanted to say that even though Anna was in Mexico when this happened, I could feel everything straight away. I could feel my body light up. All of my cells were lighting up instantly. So, this idea of distance healing and being able to actually access that's really accessible for everybody, and it does massively make a difference. And I think this is where, talking about astral bodies, talking about energetic bodies, talking about auric fields, we absolutely do connect with one another. And sometimes it's just being able to be open to it. Because these modalities are so powerful in that sense. I'd really love to experience a hands-on session as well. So, one day we will get together and we'll dance and we'll energize.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, it'd be
no,
so
and
nice.
I really love what you said about how dance, like the comparative high, the energetic high with dance. And I think the beauty of 13th octave Lahochi is really like the healing is all happening within you. And you, as the healer, are really doing the work on yourself as well as the session is happening. So, like, you healing your body through dance, I mean, you're also doing the healing for yourself with 13th octave Lahochi, and it really awakens the energetic bodies and awakens the healer within the healy.
Yeah.
Which is really beautiful. Yeah, I love it. It's just like, it really truly awakens like the divine truth of whoever chooses to say yes, whoever is like open to receiving it.
I actually, the day after I had my session with you, I had like a mini retreat couple of days, and I had my session with you, and then I went to my hot yoga class the next day, which I absolutely love. It's like really mellow. And then in the afternoon, I went for this massage, and my massage therapist sees me quite often. And she said to me, she was like, "You look really energized. You look really well. Last time I saw you, you seemed like a little bit more, a little bit tireder." And she went, you seem so different. I was like, oh, I had a Lao Chi session. She was like, what's that? And she's actually trained in Reiki. So I was like, well, I want to say it's a bit like Reiki, but it feels really different to Reiki. And I was trying to describe it to her. And then it made me realize, like, what words could I use? Because it's not indescribable, but it is almost indescribable, because it's obviously it'll be a very individual experience for everybody. But I loved the fact that, it's for me, like, even the distance healing, or it felt like it was doing something in a bigger way. It felt like it was almost clearing things from the future, as well as the past, as well as the present. It felt like you were saying, it transcends timelines, and it absolutely just expands you. And that's actually what it felt like. It felt like it was expanding my body, all of the energetic bodies. And if anybody doesn't know what energetic bodies are, I guess, what do we mean by that? Because obviously we have our physical body, we have our mental body, we have our emotional body, we have the astral bodies. There are about 7 different layers within your whole auric field, aren't there? So just because you can't see it doesn't mean that you don't have all of these layers to your body and to your being and to the fullness of who you are. And yeah, I guess this is particularly one part I wanted to talk to you about, Anna, because for me, often people believe in things because they see them, or because they're physical, or they find it easier to connect with things because they're physical. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this idea of energy and really connecting those dots with people, because or connecting dots for anyone really with regards to the energy of their body. Like, I don't know how you feel, but I definitely feel different feelings when I walk into different settings with different people. Is that something that you feel like, since you've done your Lahochi, you're more receptive to, or do you feel like that's something you've always been receptive to? How do you feel like, has it honed has it changed anything for you specifically, Lahochi, when you've been kind of traversing those parts of yourself as well?
Oh, it's definitely made me more receptive. I think, like, as a child, I was always a highly sensitive, being. And I think that as time went on, growing up, you kind of desensitize yourself with everything that's like, all the things that are happening when you're like growing up. You just kind of like, you harden a little bit. And I think that since like doing energy work and becoming an initiate of 13th octave, it brings you back to the purity of of that sensitivity. And I've definitely noticed just like my wonderment with life all the time, and just like how like easily we all can experience the unvisible or invisible. It's like that there is so much happening around us all the time that we can't see, but it's all there. You just have to be open to it.
And I love the word, you used the word quantum before as well. Yeah, when I think about all of the reading that I've done, I actually have a book which puts together science and all of these sorts of modalities. And when you think about like quantum physics and those realms of like the particle physics, which is absolutely minutiae, you cannot see that. That's a concept essentially, but it's physical at the same time, right? So all of this is the same. It's just because you can't see the energy going from your lead all the way to your computer or to your light or whatever, it's all the same, isn't it? And I think that it's a bit similar to if we were to take light as an expression of energy. What is often said is that we radiate more light, don't we? When we're in a healthy place, people say, oh, you're glowing. That's because you're literally radiating more light out of your skin and you are actually glowing. And that's all to do with energy as well. So yeah, I love the fact that you've said, that's kind of coming back to where you were in a way without the hardening, because I definitely relate to that. I get a sense that sensitivity or perhaps a heightened ability, to read things or to feel energy or to, I definitely relate to that, because as a kid, I mean, I was always creating, I was always sitting doing things. And I think that as soon as I've actually stopped working for briefs or specific things as a designer or as an artist, I then uncap the potential of everything that I can do. And then I get all of this like flood of ideas. And it's a bit similar, right? You take away the constraints of walls, and then all of a sudden you feel all of the things that are there to be felt.
Oh yeah, baby. It's like it's meant to blast our hearts open. And that's the thing, is like granted, there is just so many things going on, and personally, individually, collectively, that causes us to close our hearts. And this is like the major issue. When our hearts are closed, we're separated. And this is the thing, is like, in order for our collective consciousness to heal, our hearts have to be open. And this is the major, I feel it's like the number one key of 13th octave Lao Chi is the opening of the heart and the expansion of the heart, so that we have more capacity for empathy, compassion, and most of all, like love, not only for ourselves, but everyone else around us. And realizing that like you are part of one consciousness, unity consciousness, like we are all one part of the whole.
Yeah, I love that. And I actually think what you've just said to do with hearts closed, hearts open, I think this is also what links the dance experience and Lao Chi, because for me, ecstatic awakening dance is all about that heart opening. It's designed to open your heart so that you can feel the true blissful, radiant being that you are. Love manifests. That is the heightened orgasmic experience that life is, right? And actually, I was thinking about this for so much. I've always been thinking, or I've been coming to this idea the last few months, is that we live on a love planet, right? where literally everything is made with love. We procreate. There's like a love being made from procreation. There's love expressions that support other love expressions. So really it's all a language of love. And actually this idea of like being hardened or brokenhearted, the most courageous thing a person can do if they've been through heartbreak is to vulnerably love someone and be open to be feeling safe and feeling loved and being loved and giving love again. And I think that that's a lot of people, you know, whether you're talking about so many different experiences, you know, versions of death or trauma, or, you know, lots of different expressions that people can have and experiences. I actually feel like the one a lot of people talk about, oh, you know, the idea of healing. And for me, the highest expression of healing is to be able to healthfully open your heart and receive love and know that you are love, right? And that nothing is going to change that. But I think it's a massively courageous thing to do, to be able to be on the same earth in the same place or in a different place and grow. So grow from a place of love and really experience it from that perspective too. So I think that, you know, courage and love always go together for me. I think that they absolutely, it is a courageous act. I also think that, like you say, we all are one. And really, when you can sink into that, it really helps you connect inwardly. And again, you know, self-love, self-compassion, all of these things, when you're loving yourself, you're loving your reality. You know, it's all interdimensional and it all connects. So however you do it, I just want to encourage anybody to say, like, give yourself a pat on the back and really say, like, I am love, because it's a beautiful moment to be able to do that with yourself and take time to do that. But yeah, no, I love the fact that you were saying La Ho Chi is all about that. It's all about love, really. And right, we need more of that in every way, on every level. Do you have any other practices that particularly feed you, or that you feel have really helped you get to where you are, or have nourished you specifically?
Specifically this year, okay, this is going to sound really, I mean, really silly, but I just go outside. I just go outside and I absorb energy from the sun. I absorb energy from water. I absorb and receive water from, like, just the energy of my surroundings. And I'm really lucky that I like have a beach really nearby. But just taking that time to be with nature, to be with mother, like, has really been the deepest medicine for me. Also, I think that, like, just really being present with all of the symphonies of, like, sound and the vibrations of the trees, the sand, the water, and the rocks. That has been like the number one nourishing ritual for me. And I think that it's also led to a deeper connection with spirit, because it's really like they go hand in hand. And yeah.
That's a beautiful sentiment. I think this is something that's quite consistent that's coming through on this podcast, is people's love to be in nature and to be replenished by it. I had a friend who was on this podcast, Eric, a couple of weeks ago, and he sent me this song, which is by Ram Dass, and it's literally, he just says nature is a reflection of you. Nature isn't God manifest on this earth or source manifest on this earth, and so are you. So it's all a reflection of you. When you hug a tree, you are hugging yourself, literally.
Yes.
I mean, I listened to it for the first time and I just cried. I was like, oh, like it's all, because it's absolute. Because for me, I think that when you're talking about unity, when you talk about anything that brings you back to this like natural state of being where there's no pushing, there's no, there's no sense of chase, there's no like societal whatever it is or whatever, there's none of that push. You realize that things just naturally occur, and you have your own perfect timing, which is in sync with nature, and you are perfect. And I think that's also why, going back to that, like nature is such a powerful and healing tool, really. And it's not a tool, obviously, we are it and it is us. But how can you deny something that's that beautiful, that's in front of you? I mean, I don't know how you can deny that in any way. Yeah Bliss, just absolute bliss. Yeah, and I mean, you were talking about going into water and really absorbing the energy of water, and one of my favorite things to do, Anna, is to swim in the ocean every day. And I don't currently live by the ocean, but that's something that I really would love to, like my Axis Mundi, which is where I go to before I travel in the shamanic realms, is actually an ocean part, and part of the ocean which I go to, and I sleep by it. And I get in it every night every morning when I've slept in my camper van next to it. And it just wakes a different part of me up. It just like talks to me in such a deep way. I think there's such divinity in that. It's beautiful.
Oh, the waters. I love it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm really like, wow, so grateful that the ocean is like so close by, and just the power of just like even dipping my toes, just like putting my toes in for a few seconds, I already feel like, oh, okay, the water has drawn away whatever was bothering me, or anything that was just like didn't belong to me. The ocean just takes it. I'm free and clear, and the medicine is free.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. You can do that in streams, you can do it in rivers. Like I've been cold water swimming this year, mostly in reservoirs, rivers, waterfalls. We do have a waterfall up here which is beautiful as well. But yeah, that water is filtered, is beautiful water. It's beautiful. And I think everybody deserves to. I think that's also why everybody loves going to the ocean for their holiday, because it's truly replenishing. Sometimes I have like 7 dips in one day. I'm just like, yeah, I just got to keep. I'm back in. I'm just like a mermaid, constantly in there, just like the salt's got my hair like this at that point. There's no.
You're such a mermaid. You're such a mermaid. Of course. I just see it. I'm like, oh yeah, I see you there, just like floating with your mermaid hair.
And the morning sun twinkling on the ocean. It's just like, oh, it's magic. It's absolutely magic. I can't wait to go and stick my whole body in a body of water again. I'm calling out for it now. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Anna. I really appreciate your time. If people want to get in touch with you and ask any questions or book a session, how is best to get in contact with you?
So the best way to get in contact with me currently is Instagram. So if you, my profile is Anna Manila. It's really easy to find me. And you can just send me a message and we'll go from there. It's really, really simple.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And it's been beautiful to talk love, unity, and all things energy with you.
Thank you
It's
for
always a
having me
delight,
on.
always. And thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your time and your energy too. If you do have any questions, just pop them in the comments below, or you can reach out to Anna or myself. Take care of you. Thank you so much. Until next time.